Okay, claim of 2AB credit to be used and restriction at the time of return filing 3B. Okay, interesting. Mr. Sivaraju, is interest applicable on debit notes towards price increase on the date of original invoice to debit note date? Good. Okay. Not bad, honestly. I see a lot of responses. Audience, let's keep this going. I'd like to see a lot of engagement and involvement during the webinar as let's not make this a one-way webinar where we only speak. We will have interactions. We also have some exciting polls during the webinar. So I look forward to that. So audience, on that note, let's get started for today. I hope my voice is audible. A quick yes or no would be great so that I can go forward. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Great. Okay. And those of them who've mentioned uh, queries and their inputs, we will surely take them up as the session goes forward. All right. So let me introduce myself. I am Siddharth Nandakumar. I handle product marketing at WebSol. I will also be your moderator for the day. Along with me is our speaker, Mr. Akela Prakash Rao, who I will definitely introduce as the session goes forward. So before I hand it over to him and obviously take up the session for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run you through about 3 to 4 slides regarding the company and the products that we have on offer, and followed by which I will hand it over to our speaker for the day. So let's move forward. This is a quick evolution timeline of our company, that is WebSol. So let me explain how the company originated. So back in the days, let me start off from 1988. We were established as part of Wipro's IT business. We were essentially known for the printer peripherals manufacturing division of the company. We were also very well known for our DMPs, that is dot matrix printers. So from there on, the company was obviously doing well on the printer end. We even set up our factory. And in 2000, the company decided to come out of Wipro. You might ask me why. So the board members in Wipro assumed that the printing business is not something that will go for a long time. So they decided to pull the plug for Wipro e-peripherals. And so that's when some of them decided to come out of Wipro and form a separate company called Web Solutions. So from there on, the company evolved, and obviously the newer product lines were introduced. And in 2017, the company launched a digital services lineup, which holds workflow automation. And I also like to mention that we have a GST solution as well for your filing reconciliation, e-invoicing, e-way bill integration, etc. And I'd also, I'm sorry for the change in the slides. Yeah, I'd also like to mention that recently we underwent a complete brand rebrand exercise. So today we are known by the name of WebSol. We have a completely, entirely new product portfolio as well under the name of FluidWorks, which I will explain in the upcoming slides. Some quick highlights. We come with over 24 years of industry expertise. We have close to 563 enterprise customers, and we're present in over 2,500 locations in India. We also won the Company of the Year award by CIO Tech Outlook Review for our DMS solution. And a quick view of some of our major customers. All right. So let me explain our product line, that is FluidWorks. This is our intelligent workplace suite. Under this, we have different offerings by the names of Fluid Pro, Fluid Print, Fluid Map, and Fluid Trail. I'll quickly take about 2 minutes to explain what these things do. So you might ask me, what does the name Fluid mean, right? So the idea is we will be able to basically customize and provide tailored scalable solutions. Our solutions will be able to take shape based on the customer's requirement. As you know, every customer, every individual will have a unique requirement, right? It is never the same. So our approach is fluidic, and we will, with our portfolio that is FluidWorks, we'll be able to offer and create something called the fluidic workplace, that is work anywhere, anytime, and any device. Okay, moving to the next slide. Now, this is our portfolio. As you can see, we have FluidWorks, as I already mentioned. Then we have Fluid Pro. This is our managed IT services lineup, where we will be able to take care of your IT infrastructure. You'll also be able to deploy servers, your Wi-Fi access points, your entire IT infra can be planned and executed by us. Then we have Fluid Print. This is our signature offering, that is managed print services, where we will be able to take care of your entire printer infrastructure. Your entire printer network ranging across the country can be handled, and we will charge you only for the service. That is, how many papers you print, we will charge you for that. And we are also number one in India on this part. We are known as the number one MPS provider in India. We have Fluid Map. Now, deploying these many printers, these many servers will obviously require monitoring, right? How do you do that? That is simply with a solution called Fluid Map, which is our IT asset management service. So we will install a solution, a software, which is on your network. You'll be able to monitor the number of printers that is having uptime, downtime, what is the toner level, cartridge level, etc., etc. That is taken care by Fluid Map. And lastly, we have Fluid Trail, which is our workflow automation and document management solution. And I would like to divert your attention to something that's called Flow Tax, which is our managed GST solution, which I feel most of you will be able to relate to here. Now, this is an all-in-one, one-window solution which will take care of your filing, reconciliation, uh, your 2A, 3B filing, all that is taken care of. We also have modules for e-invoice. We have unlimited e-invoice upload, which is a USP, in fact. We also have e-way bill integration, which we'll be able to take care. And I'd also like to mention that most of your ERPs which need integration, that is SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, NetSuite, or any API related integrations, we will take it up. So that is flow tax. And I will not be touching upon the retail end. I would like to mention that we also have presence on the retail end. That is billing printers for Kirana stores, departmental stores, jewelry stores, etc., supermarkets. So that is what we do on the retail end. So that is a quick introduction about the company. Now let me launch a quick poll. We will not be running any demos or anything as such, as the session is purely presentation oriented. So let me launch a quick poll, see if any of you are interested exploring any GST solutions. Would you be interested in a free demo of our solution, that is flow tax? Let me leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. I'd like to mention that we'll be able to provide you a free demo, absolutely free of cost, and we'll understand your requirement. Based on that, we can give you a demo. Okay, please note that we have different modules for filing, reconciliation, e-invoicing, e-way bill. So based on your requirement, we will obviously show you the demo of our solution. Okay, thank you so much for your inputs on this. Let me end the poll. All right, so without any further ado, let's move on. Okay, I see Mr. Yashesh Patel. Okay, Mr. Yashesh, I might have to understand this a little better. If you can elaborate, I can answer that. All right. So let's introduce our speaker for the day, Mr. Akela A.S. Prakasha Rao. Mr. Akela is an independent indirect tax advocate. He graduated in 1989 from BITS Pilani, that is Birla Institute of Technology in Electricals and Electronics Engineering. He is also a gold medal holder who completed LLB from Andhra University in the year 2001. He is a certified fraud examiner as well, but currently not active in this field. He's worked for CBIC, that is Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, from the years 1994 to 2008. He's worked for KPMG Bangalore from 2008 to 2013. His other major stints were with Toyota Kirloskar Motor, Bidadi from February 2013 to November 2016, and Biocon from the years November 2016 to June 2021. He is also a member of indirect tax committees of various tax bodies, to name a few, like BCCI, CII, FICCI, and so on. He's also an active article writer in various article forums like TIOL, Tax Sutra, and he addresses a regular speaker for web solutions. He's also a speaker and panelist on various other forums addressing indirect tax matters. Mr. Akela comes with more than 28 years of experience in the field of indirect taxes, with exposure in government, consultancy, and industries, to name a few, like auto and pharma. He has hands-on experience in GST customs, FTP, SEZ, central and state excise, so on. Mr. Akela is currently practicing as indirect tax advocate, assisting various clients on all aspects of indirect taxes at all levels. In fact, if our audience, if you require any sort of tax related services, any queries there is, or any sort of solution requirements that you need, he is the man of the hour. I believe you should be able to reach out to him. We'll in fact mention his number and mail in our post webinar mailer. I take great pleasure in introducing him on yet another webinar with us. Mr. Akil, I'm sure the audience is looking forward to directly hearing from you. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Siddharth, for those kind words. And thanks, audience, for joining us for this year-end webinar, wherein that we intend to cover the GST in a nutshell. Maybe this is going to be a helicopter view of what all the changes that have taken place during the year 2023. And then some of the interesting judicial precedents also, which were pronounced in the year 2023. And then with a forecast for what is there in store for us in 2024 and what are the few things that we have to really look forward to in 2024. So most of the points that I may be touching upon today may be some things which we have discussed in our past webinars and other places. Hence, it could be a repetition. Kindly bear with me. But definitely that I'm here to address all your queries. So I request you to please post your queries in the Q&A box here that you can see. And all those questions are going to be answered at the end of the session. So I'm starting with my agenda. It is going to be the 2023 legal updates, and then the important case laws of 2023, and the expected changes of 2024, and the litigations to watch out for in 2024. These are the 4 important bullet points that I will be looking at. And depending on your interactions and the interest that you are showing, maybe in the case laws and other areas, that I go into deep. Otherwise, that it is going to be reading out from the presentation in order to save time. But certainly, if there is an interest from your end, then definitely that we can do the deep dive. Siddharth, next slide, please. Yeah. So starting with the GST registration, because we all know that in July 2023, the government has undertaken a huge drive to weed out fake registrations in the GST, because that is the biggest stumbling block in the credit chain for us. So those who are having fake registrations are resorting to circular trading, etc. So all such kind of persons were identified during this massive drive, which was undertaken across India in all the states. And they have weeded out all such unscrupulous elements from the GST ecosystem. After that, realizing the importance of having a know your customer norms, stringent norms and all, that they have introduced the KYC, geotagging, physical verification based on the risk analysis, these kind of new things into the GST registration. But still, the registration process is not such a peaceful exercise, that time and again that we are hearing that the registration being getting delayed for undesirable things and etc. But that is something that we have to deal with, because of these unscrupulous elements who are also operating and impacting on the ITC chain. So government is coming out stringently with a lot of measures in order to secure the input tax credit, because that is the most powerful element of the GST ecosystem. So the invoices, e-invoicing has been made mandatory about the turnover of 5 crores effective of 1st of August 2023. now that they are introducing another new feature from 15th December, that 6-digit HSN also is becoming mandatory. So one needs to be wary about it. And then mandatory reporting of the e-invoices within 30 days from the date of document for those exceeding a turnover of 100 crores was introduced from 1st of November 2023. So all these measures are really for the benefit of the SSEs only. But yes, in complying with these things, that there will be initial teething troubles, but nevertheless, these are going to help the industry in the long run. And one good measure out of this automation is going to be the auto population of the GSTR1 from the e-invoicing and the e-waybill portal is going to be enabled, making way for the pre-filled GSTR3B, which can be edited by the SSE based on his GSTR1 and 2B data. So this is one novel thing which they are promising, which is going to come soon to be reality, wherein that you are going to have pre-filled returns where the numbers are to be cross-verified by you. They are all going to be editable. So based on your information available at your end, that you can edit those information. But this is going to help particularly the small time providers and the MSME sector in a large way, because they will not be having all the information at their end where exactly the data has to be presented in the return. So in such a scenarios, a pre-filled return will give you at least that to cross-verify your numbers and then to file the returns. So such a kind of a facility is going to be given to us as a new year gift from 2024 onwards, most likely. The next slide, please. So the section 16(2) has been amended to make it mandatory to pay the supplier along with the GST within 180 days in order to avail the ITC. Mind you that in the last webinar, when I have first broached on this topic also, I have emphasized on the fact that the payment always has to happen to the supplier only and not on his instructions to somebody else. So that one needs to keep it in mind. Then the interest computation for incorrect utilization of the ITC is under 53 rather than under 51. So this is also an important change that one needs, which is impacting the businesses. And the, of course, the impact as well as far as cost is concerned is the same, but the reporting change is there. That is what is important to note. And the exempted supply includes the supply of goods in a warehouse before filing the bill of entry, IC sales, etc. So this is another dampener for the industry, wherein that the prorated ITC has to be reversed for the sale made in a warehouse. And there is no ITC under section 17(5) EFA for CSR activities effective 1st of October 2023. So prior to that, yes, the answer is that because the section 17(5) EFA is not existing in the statute books, the ITC on the CSR activities should be available, but the department may contest this issue, but at a higher forums, definitely I think that you have a good case. And export proceeds can be received in Indian rupees through special escrow accounts, and the standard operating procedure for the special rupee escrow accounts has been announced by the DGFT 2 days ago. So those who are interested in knowing these details and all can refer to the DGFT website and download the SOP, and then they can follow that. Next slide, please. Yeah. So some of the interesting case laws that I'm going to share with you, that the one decision of the Supreme Court in the matter of Karnataka value-added taxes regime, that is state of Karnataka versus E-Com-Gil Coffee Trading Private Limited. So this has been decided on 13/3/2023. So why a decision under the erstwhile VAT laws is going to be relevant in the GST is because of this particular decision has been quoted extensively in all these high court decisions where the discussion is about the input tax credit under GST. So in the matter of Calcutta High Court, in the matter of Suncraft Energy, and then Baligan Charge and others, and then Patna High Court in Asta Enterprises, and Kerala High Court in GI agencies, and Allahabad High Court in Universal Enterprises, Malik Traders, and then Shiv Trading. In all these matters, extensively that they have placed reliance on this Ecom Guild coffee trading decision by the Supreme Court, wherein that the authorities have held that the entire responsibility of establishing that you have received the goods and the goods have actually were supplied to you and they were transported from the supplier's end to the recipient. He is on the recipient because he is the person who is availing the input tax credit against such supplies. So the decision has taken interpreted to such an extent that the recipient is supposed to maintain the toll bills also during the transit of the goods from the supplier to his place. Whatever the toll payments that he made are to be saved in order to establish that the goods have transitioned through all these tools and they were supplied to you. So that is the crux of this decision. So you can imagine the kind of data that you need to maintain at your end in order to claim the ITC in your books. So this is an outcome of the Karnataka VAT loss litigation in the Supreme Court, but has been squarely applied in the GST era also, and it is playing havoc because the way it has been interpreted by various courts in various circumstances is what makes this a very important case law settled in 2023. Next slide, please.
Yeah. Sir, if you don't mind, can we launch a quick poll?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Audience, we have a couple more polls that are going to be coming in. So here's the first poll. In your opinion, what is the most impactful GST trend in 2023? Now, I know that there are a few more slides which will cover this, but nevertheless, let's see what is it that you think is the most impactful GST trend in 2023. Please note that this is multiple choice, so you can choose one or more.
No, but what is the most important thing that you need to observe is that we are not going to publish your names
That's
and there
true.
are no marks given to you. So there is no pass or fail in this. So I urge all the members to kindly participate very actively.
Correct. So audience, let's see. I mean, I would like to see maximum.
It makes us actually a dialogue rather than a monologue.
Agreed,
And
sir.
it shows that whether you are tuned to this webinar or not.
Audience, can we have 5 more inputs? 5 more. Okay, 3 more. Yeah, 3 more. We got 2 there. All right. As I see, it has increased compliance measures and technology driven.
Technology-driven reforms. In fact, the people that today we have are the people who are hands-on at the field level. So that is the reason they have rightly identified the two important things that increase the compliance measures and the technology-driven reforms are the two important things. Audience, you are bang on.
That's good to hear. Absolutely. So let me stop sharing and sir, I'll launch a few more at a later stage. You can go ahead, sir. Yeah. So I'll move to the next slide.
Yeah, please. So this is one other decision that I do not know how many of you are really would be interested in this particular decision. This is all about the GST on expat salaries. So in the Supreme Court, in the matter of Northern Operating System, because of the peculiar conditions that are prevailing in the agreement of Northern Operating with their parent company outside India, wherein that they have got some employees, expat employees from the parent who have joined the Indian firm here, and they have received salaries from the Indian company, on which that whether there is going to be any service involved in it, which is liable for the service tax, was the discussion. So from the SISTAT, the matter went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has ultimately given the decision. Of course, taking cognizance of the peculiar kind of an arrangement that they have, that it is liable to service tax. Unfortunately, that this issue is there even in the GST era also, and the simply the revenue authorities in most of the matters have copy pasted this particular Supreme Court decision in order to charge GST in all such cases, and without distinguishing between the peculiar circumstances in which the Supreme Court has come to such a conclusion in the northern operating systems, they did not do any kind of a homework at their end while confirming their demands. And currently, the matters are pending in several high courts. And in most of the high courts, that the issue of GST levy and even the service tax levy on such payments is under stay, and the matters have to come to a conclusion. To cite a few of them, that Delhi High Court in the matter of Centrica India Offshore, Metal One Corp India Private Limited, and Punjab and Haryana High Court in the matter of Mitsubishi and BMW have already given stay, and the matters are yet to be heard for final decisions. And interestingly, in this week, Sestat Chennai in the matter of Nissan Motors has passed an order, and this also emanating from the service tax appeal, and the two members on the bench have differed in their view. The technical member is of the view that the service tax is leviable, but the judicial member is of the view that there is no service element in this and the service tax is not leviable. Ultimately, the matter is now to be heard by the third member on two important points: that there are two components for the salary that is paid to the expat employees. One that is paid in their native country abroad, and the second portion is which is paid in India to them. So whether the Indian salary also forms part of the consideration for the services is one point. And the second thing is that the salary paid in those respective countries, whether that has to be subject to tax. So on these 2 points, that the matter has been referred to the third member. So this is also going to be interesting judgment, which will have a lot of ramifications in the GST in the coming days. Then there is one sensational decision by the Karnataka High Court in the matter of Gamescraft on tax GST levy on online gaming. So whether these online gamings are the way that they are being played, whether they are games of skill or games of chance. So that doubt is always there. Then there is an element of betting also involved in the game. The arguments are going either way, and currently the matters are taken up across India by several high courts, and stays have been granted. So we got to see in the coming days how this particular decision is going to take shape, because the government has come out with amendments in the GST law in order to introduce a tax levy on them at the rate of 28% on the entire amount that is being put in the game. So now the matter is seized at the Supreme Court and at the several high courts also, because the Gamescraft decision has been appealed against by the revenue in the Supreme Court. So that is one interesting judgment which we need to see. So how the decision is going to be on the game of skill and game of chance. And then the input service distributor versus cross charge. this is one big dilemma for all the big organizations who are having common services which are shared across several of their units located in India. So in all such cases, whether one should go by the input service distributor mechanism or that they have to cross-check. There were decisions from the AAR stage to triple AAR, and then the decisions are from the high courts also. So the important decisions that we can cite in this regard are the Columbia Asia and the Cummins India. Later in the 52nd GST Council meeting, the government has promised that they are going to come out with a clarity on what needs to be adopted in what kind of a circumstances, and making it very clear that ISD is not something which is mandatorily to be avoided. But however, if you see the way that it has been clarified in several quarters, it appears to be that in some cases that you need to go under the ISD. So the confusion in the field continues. Hence, we need to see whether there will be further clarity on this particular matter, because for businesses, unless there is certainty that you cannot concentrate on the business, that you will be bogged down with these tax litigation matters only. And interesting that we all know that for the financial year 17-18, because of the COVID and other issues and all, and taking advantage of one legal provision which is made into the law, that whenever there are circumstances of of the nature of force majeure, that the government can extend the due dates for issuing demand notices. So taking advantage of this particular legal provision available in the CGST, IGST, SGST laws, the government has enhanced the time period for demanding any taxes that were not paid for the financial year 17-18 till 30th September 2023, because it has been worded in a different way, wherein the orders on FI 17-18, the demands are to be fructified in the sense that a confirmed demand has to be issued on or before 31st of December 2023. So 3 months is a minimum period required between a show cause notice and a adjudication order. So 30th September 2023 becomes the last date for making any raising any demands for the financial year 17-18. Hence, you might have heard, and some of you might have received the demand notices for 17-18. So now, as a year-end bonanza, you are going to receive the notices for the financial year 18-19 on or before 31st of say December 2023, because the due date for passing orders for the demands raised for the financial year 18-19 happens to be 31st of March 2024. And in a similar fashion, in the new year, on or before 31st of March 2024, all the demands pertaining to the financial year 1920 are to be raised, because these demands are to be confirmed or decided on or before 30th of June 2024. So because these are hard closure dates that the notices are flying across, and then in fact that the numbers are correct, then the notices are running into lakhs is what is the market say. So many notices were issued. All these notices are as a result of one particular notification, 9 of 23 central tax, which has extended the period for issuance of notices in all these cases. And all this discussion is for the normal period, but wherever suppressions are involved, you know it, that the revenue gets additional time. So we are on the normal period notices only. So these are all out of this particular notification, 9 of 23 central tax. Because of this particular notification, these notices have got life now. So now in Delhi High Court, in the matter of Graziano Transmissioni India Private Limited versus the GST Council, the court has taken cognizance of this writ filed by these people, and they have admitted and issued notice to the government that whether there is any force majeure which is there for extending this time period, because the COVID got over. After that, there was ample time for the revenue to raise these demands, but they did not do so. And all of a sudden, when the last date is approaching, all the notices are flying across. Whether they have really applied their minds while issuing the notices or not is not known, but everybody is in receipt of these notices. Similarly, in the matter of Gujarat, SRSS Agro Private Limited, even in the Gujarat High Court also, a similar issue is pending. So these are some of the interesting developments which we need to see. And I think yesterday or day before, Allahabad High Court has come down heavily that we cannot be slaves of the technology, that technology can be our handmaid while making any kind of a demands, but we should never be the slaves of technology. In one of the GST matters only, because of the routine manner in which the notice has been given, the court has made this kind of an observations. So these are some of the important developments which have happened in 2023, which are of interest, and then they have got a huge impact on our daily lives. That is the reason that some of these decisions are mentioned here. Siddharth, do you want to launch any poll at this point of time?
Yeah. I think we should definitely launch a poll since you've covered some
All the
things.
case laws for 2023.
Yeah. So let me just quickly launch one, sir, and we'll have one or two polls launched at the same time. So, audience, I hope you're able to see this on your screen. Which is the important judgment given under GST? So, Akela sir actually covered this. So let's see how many of you can actually recollect this. Okay, this should be interesting. Okay, most of them. Okay, most of them have voted e-com.
And in fact, that more participation is required in this, because everybody is directly or indirectly impacted by these decisions.
Right. Okay, the numbers are slowly increasing. Let's see.
Yeah.
Audience, can we have five more? Five more.
Because Gamescraft caters to only those who are in the gaming industry, and NOS caters to only those organizations which are located in multinational companies only.
Right.
But e-com gill is something which is hitting the common man on the road also.
Agreed,
so
sir.
the polls have got on the predictable lines only.
Correct, yeah. Okay, not bad. We have 31 responses. It's improved. Let me end the poll and let me just share the results. Okay. So, audience, I hope all of you are able to see this. Sir,
Very
any
good.
comments on this?
Yeah, e-com should win, hands down, and it has won with a lot of majority, because it is what is impacting our lives. And in fact, its impact is being felt by everybody, that the high courts have gone crazy to ask you to furnish the toll payment bills also, which are actually paid using your this toll plaza. There that it is auto payment, no, using your that card that is stuck on your vehicle and all that. So how to receive the printed bills for it is going to be a nightmare when you claim the ITC. So let's see how the industry is going to react to this in the coming days. So next slide, please.
Sir, if you don't mind, let me just launch one more poll. I'd like them to redirect elsewhere, and then we can go back to your slides. I hope that's fine.
No problem.
Yeah. Audience, just give me one moment. I have a poll that I'd like all of you to attend quickly, but not on Zoom. I will redirect you to another page. Just 1 minute.
It is very good that all the audience are there with us right from the first minute till
absolutely. Now. Absolutely, sir. Okay, so audience, I would request all of you to quickly check your chat. So I've pasted a link. Now this will redirect you to our LinkedIn page. We have a live poll running right there. I would request the same level of engagement on LinkedIn as well. So I will in fact request all of you to just spend about 10 seconds to quickly input that poll and then come back and then we can continue with the slides. So let me just read out for the rest of them. Which aspect of this year, that is 2023's GST changes, do you find most challenging to navigate? Is it rate adjustments or is it related to compliance? Or is it input tax credit rules? Or finally, we have digitization requirements. Request all of you to take about 10-15 seconds only to quickly answer that, and then we can get going with the presentation. Okay, I already see about 4 votes. Okay, let's check how many of them are done with it. Okay, not bad. We have about 10 votes on that end. Audience, the rest of you are still attending that, attempting that, can finish that and come back. We will move on to the next slide. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Yeah. So some of these expected changes in the coming year that pre-filled returns will be a reality. So we have discussed about it. So you are going to see in the coming year that your return is already pre-filled, that you need not break your head where exactly to report a particular number. So the numbers are readily available to you. Only thing what you have to do is cross-verify whether the number is right or not. And these are all going to be editable fields. Hence, you can edit it at your end and then you can make a submission. And then the major reform that is going to come in, I do not know the if anybody is realizing the quantum of this particular thing, but B2C invoices that they want it to be electronic invoices. The online portals like Amazon, Flipkart, and various others are generating lakhs of invoices on a daily basis. If all these are to be e-invoices, just see the traffic on the portal. But the government wants it to happen because what is the view of some of the experts in the GST is currently we are consistently clocking more than 1.5 lakh crores of revenue collections every month. But if it comes to a stage wherein even the B2C invoices are also going to be electronic invoices in India, the monthly collections are expected to touch 3 lakh crores per month. I do not know to what extent this kind of a prediction is going to prove to be true. We have to wait and watch. But B2C invoicing becoming in the electronic invoicing is a certainty. But the only thing is, I do not know whether it is going to be in 2024 or 2025. But the government's intention and the direction is that it should be achieved in the coming year. And then more of transparency is what is the government is expecting. Why? Because that the kind of reconciliations that they are looking at and the amount of data that they are having, that you can expect more and more of show cause notices just to bring in more transparency into the system. It is not that in all the cases that you are at fault and you are liable to make a payment, but the only thing is that whether the dots are properly connected at your end or not is what the government wants to test. Mind you, the e-way bill portal is now linked with the toll plaza portal, that all the e-way bills and your toll payments are being cross-verified. So that is already operational at the government. And then the rationalization of tax rates. Already the GST Council has formed a committee, and there were certain changes due to the changes in the political dispensation in that rate rationalization committee constituted under the GST Council. So the final report has not yet been placed for discussions. But definitely the tax rate rationalization is a ongoing process. So that is also expected in the coming year. And GST tribunals will be constituted and they will start functioning. So because whatever is the law that is required has already been moved in the parliament in this week only by the finance minister. So once it has it gets approval, then I think the GST tribunal work will get speeded up. So definitely, this is one other big change, because what all the pending appeals are there, which are to be placed with the GST tribunal, that now that they will get attraction. And then clarifications are expected on the ISD versus crash charge, as I discussed, and ITC on immovable property, corporate guarantee. Already the corporate guarantee, some clarification is there, but still that fingers crossed, the people are having doubts that whether the government is right in coming out with a valuation mechanism when it is a transaction between related parties is one question that is going on. So there is a potential opportunity for somebody to raise it in the judicial forums, and maybe that we have to see that how the courts are going to view the valuation, which has been compulsorily introduced by the government in a related party transaction, defying the section 15 of the CGST Act. Then online gaming, yes, that you have all the litigation now. Then ITC availability, because of the e-com decision being interpreted in the GST by various forums. And then there is a proposal for integration of all the online portals like the GSTN, SEZ Online, IceGate, and then your DGFT portal. So there are many portals with which SSC has to deal for his day-to-day operations. So there is a strong proposal for integration of all these online portals, and which can be a reality in the coming days. And then there are some SEZ related changes, because the Desh bill, whatever was proposed for effecting changes in the SEZ, has been struck down because of the differences between the Ministry of Commerce and the Ministry of Finance. Now, what they have proposed is that the GST Act itself is going to be amended on the lines of the proposals made in the Desh bill. So the Act amendment and the rules amendments and the procedures are going to be expected in the coming year. And then the 6-digit HSN has been made mandatory in the EVA bills now, so which is going to be operational from tomorrow onwards. So these are some of the important changes in 2024. But if you ask me in a long-term perspective, what are the changes that are expected? That there is a strong proposal by the economists that the direct taxes should not be there in any economy. So indirect taxes are going to take the major role. So if such is the case, then there will be an opportunity that both direct taxes and the indirect taxes may get merged, and there will be only one single return with which that you will be making the payments of your direct taxes as well as indirect taxes. So maybe this prediction can be a reality 5 years down the line or 10 years, depending on the will of the political dispensation and the reaction by the industry for such a novel reform. But definitely this is something which is there in the pipeline, and there are some thinking going on these lines. So this is one important change. One needs to keep it in mind. Next slide, please.
Yeah. So before you go to the next slide, I think since you mentioned expected changes in 2024, I think I can launch one such poll which talks about
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So audience, hope you're able to see this. This is probably the last poll because post this, we are obviously getting into the Q&A. Which upcoming GST trend for 2024 are you most interested in learning about? Is it the potential rate revisions, new compliance requirements, technological advancements, or is it international implications or GST changes? Or as always, the chat is open for any other inputs there is. Let me leave this poll on for the next 1 minute. Okay. All right. Good number of responses. Let me end the poll and I will just share the results. Sir, if you'd like to mention
Yeah,
any.
affected people are feeling still that these technological advancements in the GST processes, but very closely competed, but last out in the last minute and the new compliance requirements. So these are the two upcoming trends that people are having in their mind, that is going to be the thing in 2024. Yes, you are right that there is a bit of this big data analytics which is happening with the government for issuance of so many notices, because that the government has got the tools to analyze the data that is at their end in order to come out with the demands. And then people are saying that there is an artificial intelligence also that the government is using, but the government is saying that they have not yet touched upon that area. But whatever it is, that the notices are there for us to answer. And then in addition that, yes, machine learning and other upcoming technologies are coming up. Now that you can see that there are some people who have come out with the chat GPT, which answers the routine show cause notices from the GST. So if you one is a very tech savvy person, maybe that you can see all this. Yes, technological advancements in the GST processes is going to be the thing for 2024. Good observation by the participants.
Absolutely, sir. So let me stop sharing, and I think there's one more slide.
Yeah.
And yeah, after that we can get into Q&A.
So some of the important litigations that I just wanted you to focus on in the coming year, that the Supreme Court is already heard on this matter of safari retreats, wherein that ITC on the movable property, whether it is eligible or not. So this matter, arguments are over. I think that the matter is now pending for the final decision from the Supreme Court. So we have to hear on that matter. And tax on mining royalty is one other issue. There are conflicting decisions in the matter of Hanumankar International, Nirmat Samiti, and Sudarshan Lal Gupta and Udaipur Chambers, and Lakshminder Singh, wherein the Supreme Court has granted stay on demand, and the decisions are not uniform in all these matters. So a comprehensive decision is what is expected in the coming days, because a matter, all these matters are pending at the Supreme Court at various levels. And as I told you, the Gamescraft decision is there with the Supreme Court, and various other high courts are seized with the other matters on the online gaming. And then Northern Operating decision on the expat employees has been questioned and stayed across several high courts in the case of GST, which we have discussed. So the outcome is something which we need to see. And the Supreme Court is also occupied with this Columbia Asia on cross-check. The circular 199 is relevant in this context. So we got to see that what is the clarity that we are going to get on this. And the legality of the show cause notices issued as a result of this notification 9 of 23 also that we have discussed. And then the Supreme Court has also given a ruling saying that TRU and the GSTN are not having any kind of power to issue HSN advisories. So that is going to be one other interesting thing, because these are the two strong bodies for deciding any indirect tax matters, and their sayings are being taken as a gospel by the field. So how far after the Supreme Court decision, the directions and the instructions from these two superpower bodies are going to be viewed by the SSCs is something which we need to see in the coming days. And then Himachal High Court has held that a doctrine of promissory estoppel and a doctrine of legitimate expectations are relevant in the tax matters also in the case of Jay Prakash Associates. And it clearly distinguishes the several other settled cases of the Supreme Court decision in the matter of Hero Motorcar Corp and the VVF Limited. So this is one other interesting litigation wherein that any previous regime tax benefits tax stops announced by the state governments, if they are not able to deliver on the promise, whether one has got a legal recourse for them. I think this Himachal Pradesh High Court decision is certainly going to give a life to all such kind of litigations in the future. So how that is going to shape up is something that we got to see, because several of the measures announced by the government that they are retracting, and because of the change of guard or because of the change in the policies. But definitely that is giving tough times for the industry. So to deal with such matters and all, definitely one can look at the Himachal High Court decision on in the Jayaprakash matter to get some kind of an inputs for further litigation and all. So these are some of the points which I thought that I should bring it to you at the closure of this 2023 and at the beginning of 2024. And certainly we are going to meet again in 2024 with new things. But my request to you all, as in the past, that if you feel that some topic is going to be relevant for majority of the people, that we are open here to conduct webinars on such topics. And then I'm open for your queries now that I could see only one question in the Q&A box. There are several questions that we have received in the registration portal, but I could not see any of those people present in the audience now to take up those questions. So certainly, if you got any queries which are relating to any of your indirect tax issues, we may not be definitely on the topic that today we have discussed, that I will be happy to answer. Now I am taking up the Q&A. So as usual, that Anil has come out with his question. We are insurance intermediary. Can we use SPV account, and what is the procedure? Anil, you need to explain me. Are you referring to special purpose vehicle account, or this SPV stands for anything else? Anil, are you available? Yeah. Siddharth,
Yeah, I think I'll have to just
unmute
see if we
him.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. Mr. Anil, would you like to interact directly? We can help you with that. Just a minute. I can just give you permission to talk. Yeah, you can unmute, sir. Yeah, we can hear you, but little feeble.
We are the insurance intermediary, and we just wanted to open a special.
Anil, you need to be a bit louder.
We need to open
Yeah, please.
special Vostro account. So, what would be the procedure for that now?
You are talking about the special Vostro account, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. So, are you talking about the special Vostro rupee account
Pardon?
for conducting your exempt transactions in the Indian rupees?
Yeah, correct.
So, for that, DGFT has announced the SOP, sir.
Okay,
You please go to the DGFT website,
okay.
and then you can download this SOP.
Mm-hmm.
It is a detailed one.
And it would be tax exempt, or because for export they have declared
No,
it as a
see, the
tax
tax,
exempt.
if it is an export, it is an exempt one.
Mhm.
And if you are claiming any kind of export incentives, but you are going to receive the money in Indian rupees only for your exported goods or services, then also if it is routed through the special rupee Vostro account method, then all those tax incentives are in order. But if you are going to do any kind of an import transaction using the SRVA procedure, that is also in order. So that is what it says, that they have given 4 case scenarios in which this SRVA is going to be operational. So please go through that. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me offline.
Okay, so it is a DGFT website, right?
Yeah, in the DGFT website that they have announced it 2 days ago.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Then partial exemption for ITC. I am unable to understand what is this partial exemption, Yashish. I have seen this in your chat also. That what do you mean by partial exemption? Is it the case that you are both into taxable and exempted services? Hence, the pro rata reversal of the ITC is what you are referring to, saying that it's a partial exemption. If you can elaborate, maybe that I can discuss your question. There is some background noise.
Just 1 minute, sir. I'll have to disable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yashesh, I think that he is not there, sir.
Rashesh is checking. Just a minute.
No, Yashesh is not there in the participants.
Yeah, he was there. I think he's left.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah, so there's a few queries
So,
on the chat actually.
chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am taking up one after the other. I think people have expected that I am going to cover the taxation of the hotels first. So, as far as hotels are concerned, that if you are running a hotel, unfortunately, that so much of things have happened in after the introduction of the GST, particularly in the hotel industry, and they have come to a conclusion: if it is going to be a standalone restaurant, not having any accommodation facilities and others, then you cannot charge any tax on your customer. But you have to remit tax to the government. GST, you cannot charge the customer, but you have to pay to the government at the rate of 5% on the total bill. You may sell any item, but 5% is something that, as a like a composition dealer, that you should, and you are not entitled for any credit. Whether you like it or not, but that is what is the law. Hence, there is no negotiation on it, because the hotel lobby also did not make any issue about it, other than making some kind of sporadic representations, not very strongly with the GST Council to reconsider the ITC eligibility in their hands. But nothing further has happened on this. And then there is a query on the GST on FGO goods impact. I am unable to understand this FGO goods impact. Milind Gadkari had raised this. If he is available, if he can explain me, maybe that I will be able to take his question. Yashesh is not there. He has raised another query. Claim of 2AB credit to be used and restrictions at the time of return filing. So the restrictions are only coming out of section 17, nothing else. Is interest applicable on debit notes towards a price increase from the date of original invoice to debit note? The answer is yes. GST role in refunds. I think I will not be able to answer this, because I'm not seeing any question in it. What is the GST role in refunds? Pravalika, if you are there, that if you can elaborate your query, maybe that I will be of any help to you. And then, is there any impact on NGOs for these changes in law and procedures? See, sir, if you are into the supply chain in India, even for an NGO, they are going to have an impact. So definitely, if the question is specific, then I will be able to take it. In general, whether there is an impact, yes. If you are impacting the supply chain, the GST will impact you. Please confirm the percentage of RCM and GTA with ITC. With ITC, it is 12%. If required from new financial year, is it available? I think this ASH's thing is to use that about the your solution offering. We are using web GST. I think it is for you.
No,
only.
that's fine.
Yeah. Special OSTO account, Anil, I have clarified it. GST changed by hotels, clarity, please, which I have answered. Opinion about GST on royalty. So if you are talking about the mining royalty, I think I have extensively covered, Ajay. So if it is not only that and it's something else that you can elaborate. GST and interest demand raised by adjudicating authority paid entire GST amount under protest and filed an appeal before the Joint Commissioner. Appeal got dismissed. Now AA is demanding to pay interest also. We have informed AA that we will file appeal before tribunal yet to be constituted. Still, AA is pressurizing us to make the payment of interest and not allowing to wait till the appeal is filed. How to convince AA? There is no way that you can convince the AA. The only way that you can do it is if he has given anything in writing, against that you can file a writ, or otherwise that whatever is the amount that you have paid at the time of filing your appeal, automatically the stay has been granted. However, the appeal is also dismissed for you. Hence, you have to wait for the tribunal to get constituted. But if you are really being perturbed too much and not able to bear with it, then you have to go for a writ only. That is the only option that you have. If the e-invoice and tax invoice are different, and the time lapses due to 30 days, and whether any penalty for wrong e-invoices will be levied by authorities and what should be the way forward. The question is vague, that you cannot have e-invoice and tax invoice separately. So if you can explain me what is the circumstances because of which that you have ended up in this same scenario, maybe that I will be able to analyze better, Mr. Ravindra. Is GST ITC available on purchase of artistic paintings for beautification of office? I'm afraid, sir, you may not get it.
Mr. Ravindra, would you like to interact directly? I'll be able to unmute and give you the option, sir.
As a customer, whether I have to pay GST or not and how to find out. On ordinary hotels only for food. You need in your bill, he should not be charging any GST. So, being a customer, when you are going into the hotel and getting any kind of supplies from them, that your bill will simply say that idli, dosa, whatever is the rate, that's it. But they should not be showing any GST on it. That's the only way you can see that. But that too, on a standalone hotel, sir, if the hotel has got an accommodation and all that and all, and if it exceeds 7,500 per day or those things and all, the taxation rates are different. So if it is a standalone restaurant, then this is what it is. We have closed one of our Hyderabad branch in 2021. Now we received the notice for 1718. We replied through portal. Still they are asking to attend the personal hearing. You need to attend the personal hearing. For having opened office and having run your show, that even if you have closed it down, that your liability doesn't cessate, that you have to attend the proceedings, ma'am. Yeah, new reclaim ITC table. Please explain. Sir, this itself is going to take a lot of time. I think the better persons would be the Siddharth's team.
Yeah, I agree, sir. So Mr. Ajay, I think what I can do is I will obviously get my team to reach out to you after the webinar, mostly by tomorrow, and we can get on a call and we can explain this surely, sir. No problem at all.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, audience, if there's anyone who would like to interact directly, we'll be more than happy to do so. So please let me know. Okay, Mr. Ravindra. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Ravindra, you can actually unmute and talk, sir. I've given you the option.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, this normally what happens, we have 14 depots across India, and some people are not perfectly getting some due to some technical issues, the invoice is not getting properly uploaded. As a result, so there is a variations in the some small amounts with the invoice and the tax invoice which we raise from the SAP. So as a result, how this can be, what will be the scenario if this has been found by them?
See, if you ask me, there should be only one true source document with you. Okay. There cannot be two different documents because of any kind of an errors. Whatever is the technical error that you should overcome by taking the help of people like WebSol and all that. But the thing is that you cannot claim that it is a reason because of which that you are not able to reconcile the numbers and all. Because at the end of the day, what the government goes by is the e-invoice. Okay, no, because the tax invoice is something which is always doubted at your end, because that you can change it at any point of a time and say, this is what is the number that I have adopted at the beginning. But you are the person who had submitted the data to the government on the portal. So the e-invoice is going to be the authentic number as far as the government is concerned. Okay. So you have to tie up with that only. There is no other go for you. But in our case, what is happening, the tax invoices is always more, the invoices will be lesser, and we are showing our tax invoice GSTR in one as a output tax, which we are complaining everything. But the invoice is, since whenever it comes to the comparison,
then it shows that the invoice is wrong. So we might be coming under the purview of the wrong invoice disclosure. So is there any some sort of
There will be a problem, sir. I think
okay.
you have to sit with your technical team, IT team, why at all it is happening. If you are
Okay.
not able to get any kind of a resolution, maybe take the help of Siddharth to reach out to these guys, that they will be able to tell you why exactly, if your tax invoice number is different and e-invoice number is different, why at all the different numbers are getting generated from the same information that you have shared with the portal. Because there is no tax or legal element involved in it. It is something to do with the technical, that what is the problem, why at all that you are getting two different numbers and all that, that they will be the right people to analyze it and give you the guidance.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And Charan is asking, SEZ supply invoices has to be authenticated by SEZ zone authorities. Yes, they have to, because that if it is an SEZ supply, then for claiming any kind of exemptions from the tax payments or any kind of a benefits, because it is a deemed export, that you need a authentication by the SEZ zone. Recently, Noida SEZ authorities have given a clarification on this issue. You can Google out their instructions and you can follow them. Otherwise, on the offline, that if you reach out to me, that I can share it with you. Any other questions, sir?
Audience, anyone else? I think we can spend about 2-3 minutes max to max before we wrap up. So if there's anyone else who would like to interact directly, I'll be able to do so.
I think we don't have any further questions. And I really thank all the participants to stay till this long, to be there for the Q&A session also. Thanks for your patience listening, and thanks for the patronage that you have given me in the last 2 years for conducting this webinars on month-on-month basis, showing your interest in joining us and in being in dialogue with us and also. Thanks, and I wish you all a very happy new year, because this is the only occasion when I can convey this to you all people. So hoping to see you all in the new year also. Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thanks for
sir.
all.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for your time and efforts. And audience, those of you who've shown interest for a call or a demo from our side, we will reach out to you in the next 1 or 2 working days. So on that note, I'd also like to mention that you'll receive a post-webinar mailer with Akela sir's details and the webinar recording, followed by the webinar deck as well, the presentation. So on that note, let me end the session for today. Once again, thank you all for your time and have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.